Hey guys, sorry if this is a little bit of a slow start. I did get up just a little while ago, just had breakfast, got my coffee. I was actually kind of tired last night when I made that first video, so I know there's some word stumbling where I use like the word stat instead of skill in places and stuff like that, but it's pretty okay though. I think it still gets across the idea of what you guys needed to know about making an RMU character. Of course, there's a whole I didn't remember to hit the button to record. At least I fixed that this time. So where are we at? So we've done stats, temporary and potential. We did stat bonuses for those stats, and we got racial bonus, the racial bonuses for those. And we found the talents for the race. And I talked about the fact that you could get some on your own, but I'm kind of passing on that, and it's not really time for that anyways. You do that when you're actually spending your development points for some skills, which we haven't done that yet. So the next thing we do, though, is that based on your culture background, you get starting stats. So now, like I said, urban, I went with urban. I made my own list. I took this list as a starting point, but I made my own list for different cultural differences across the different peoples in my setting, and I've tweaked some of them just in general. I like people to be a lot more literate, I guess, whereas I might have a low fantasy idea, I do have a more advanced linguistic concept for my world, you know, that more people can speak well and have larger vocabularies, and then more people can read and stuff like that. So the two changes I've made to the list for the urbans, which, by the way, that's what I was also saying, is that the high elf urban life doesn't really have. I didn't look at the skill list and find anything that I wanted particularly different, so they are just urban. And the two changes that goes through is that instead of, well, let me display this thing in the first place, right? Let me go through this in the first place. Oh, maybe I'm not awake enough. Here's a list of skills right here. And can I do this? A list of skills? No. Here's a list of skills here, and the different cultures that they pre-start the game with, for examples or whatever, and basically they're giving you ranks in these. So let's go over here, and we're going to write some down. So first off, we're going to skip around. I've got languages still at the top. That's one of the ones that I changed. So here's lore, languages. Languages is under lore in RMU, not its own linguistics category. And they give 12. I actually give 16. Especially, some of them get 12, but for the urbans I give 16, because most of the urban areas are going to have a more racially mixed makeup, and therefore they're going to encounter more languages. So let's just do language a whole bunch of times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, I think that's fairly accurate. Mannish spoken, Mannish written, halfling spoken, halfling written, and dwarven. I've never actually, until now, thought about giving them bonuses to the other Elven languages, where I actually think it makes more sense. So I need another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. No, I don't need 6. What am I thinking? That's a lot of. Obviously, that's a lot. But how do I have it? Yep. So the fair elves and then the wood elves. So I have 16. Now let's see. We're going to do this. This is slightly different. There are no. We don't have to worry about any totals of DP here because this doesn't cost DP. This is straight up. So this is our culture package. So let's see. I'm going to start off with 4, and 3 is usually what I did. Or was it 4, 2? I just think it's 4. For these guys, actually, it's probably going to be more like 5, 3. Manish, we'll start with 1, 1, 1. And then Elvish, or I mean Halfling, 1, 0. Dwarven, 1, 0. Fair Elves, that's going to be 4, 2, and then Wood Elves, 4, 2. Now the thing is, how many is that? That could be a whole bunch of ranks already. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's 24 ranks already. Okay, so let's bring this down a bit. 4, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. How many is that? 19. Wow, I'm still 3 over. Is that right? Or do we have an Excel error going on here? 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 17, 19. Okay, it's not an error. Okay, that's fine. 2, 1. 2, 1. That gives us 15. And I can push this back to 3. There. The 16 languages, or the 16 ranks in a lore given. Now, I'll point out that actually here there's an asterisk, and the asterisk is choice of specialization up to 2 ranks in a single skill. So what they're saying is that these are things that have to be specialized, right? They would have something in the type category here. And during culture, you're not supposed to put in more than 2 in a single rank. But obviously, they give you too many for that in language. And not getting more than 2 means you barely speak at all. Barely speak, barely write. So that's not really helpful. Okay. The next thing, if we go down this list, awareness perception. So basically, that's equivalent to general perception. Perception. It's in awareness. Oops. It's in awareness. And we're going to go ahead and fill this category up too. These are all lores. Alright? And you're going to get 1 rank in that. Alright, give me a second here. I'm going to... Okay, I'm ready to go on now. So, we just done awareness perception. Perception, the category is awareness. In RMU, I'm a little bit more used to saying the category followed by the skill name, which is weird to me because I didn't do that for Rolemaster 2. The next one on the list is body development from the brawn category, and you start off with a rank of that. So right off the bat, we're getting hits, which is great. Combat unarmed, one of them. Now, and this is true of all the Rollemasters, I think. Unarmed is divided into sweeps and throws and strikes. So, you know, punchy kinky or flip you over my back. So you have to pick one of the two. I'm going to go with strikes, if I can spell it right, which is combat. And he gets 1 rank of that. Then we skip down to region lore, their own region, 4. Which is also an exception to, well, it's not an exception because it's not asterisked, but region lore, which comes from lores, and this would be, I think in the other one I gave it hometown. No, that was for, I don't think I gave him any region lore. Let's take a look. Did I give him region lore? Racial history, that's what I was thinking of, that was specific. And then his streetwise was for his hometown. So region lore, I'm going to do his hometown. We haven't named it, we're just specifying it. So he's going to get 4. Actually, let's call it hometown district or something like that. So it's a little bit more than just the town, but it doesn't go very far. That's acceptable. You can divide these however you want. Again, GM prerogative. Of course, the idea is if I stated the whole nation, the whole country, which are not the same word, which is why I corrected myself. If I stated the whole country, then the lore that he would know would not be as specific, right? He wouldn't know every, you know, hidden little secret all over the place. He'd know very much more general things. Alright, next. Other lores, asterisk, 6. So basically at this point, the lores, they singled out 2 of the lores, languages and regions, and then say, here, go pick as up to 6, as few as 3 different lores to put some information or some knowledge into this guy. So to do that, actually, I'm going to pull up the skills. I think this is the one I want. Yep. Because they made updates to these, so then they published, but they didn't want to update their PDF, so they just put out the images. So let's take a look at the lore. Okay, going in mine, historic lore. Actually, there's racial lore still, isn't there? Yeah, there's still racial lore, so we're just going to do racial lore. Of the High Elves, which is a lore, and we're going to give him 2 ranks in that. They are a proud people. I'm going to give him material lore, right? Because he's child of cobblers, and he had to pick up a lot of that. Now we're going to split it up a little bit more. We're going to go creature lore, avian. I don't know. I have no idea why. Just to be different. And what was I going to pick here? Spell lore. Which I don't think needs to be specified. No, there's no asterisk on it. So there's 6 points of other lores spent. Urban doesn't get anything in medical. Everyone gets a bit of movement running, which should basically be like the sprinting one. Though in Rolemaster 2 there was sprinting and long distance running, and in here that we just have running. We're going to get a rank of that. Now there are these two, social and influence and social. Well, first, just because it's alphabetical, I'm going to do one of the ones that I inserted. Do math from sciences. I think, and I give urban people 2. Maybe I treat math like their language ranks, which are like at 1 rank. All you can do with the language is identify the language. Like, oh, I hear that. That's Mannish, or oh, I'm reading, looking at these symbols. That's Halfling. But that's all you can. That's all you know. Like, you can't even start picking out the common words until you get to rank 2. So maybe I look at math the same way. Like, I look at all these characters that don't have math, and I'm like, as far as that means, like, you can count to 10. That's it, you know? So, but with currency and everything like that, you're definitely going to have to be making change, or you're going to get scammed constantly, right? Now, granted, some people may know it better, and be able, maybe be able to scam people who know it less, but I tend to start people with more math, because I'm assuming, especially for the urban cultures, that they're doing more trading in currency. So, social. 1 rank of influence, which is asterisk. And we're going to go ahead and go to, this is page 35. We're going to go ahead and go down to the skills, because, oh no, I don't, yes, I need to go down to the skills. Social awareness, I was just there. Here it is. Influence. Bonus to maneuvers to attempt to shift people's opinions in the direction the character desires, which is specialized into charm, duping, intimidation. So this guy, influence, is going to go with duping. If you remember, we almost picked duping in the Rolemaster 2 character list, just it kind of ran out of the points. And we'll see it when we flip back to that list. You also get 1 social awareness. Social awareness is essentially the opposite of all the influences. It is your defense skill, if you will, to being influenced. So people in the urban areas get used to trying to influence people and being aware that they're trying to be influenced. And then we have 7 asterisk trades and crafts. Trades and crafts actually, as a general category, actually consists of any skills in the composition, crafting, performance art, or vocational skills, and again, up to 2 ranks in a single skill. So, I'm going to pop up in that list again. Obviously, what we're going to do is we're going to go to crafting leathercraft, which doesn't have to be specialized any further than that in Rolemaster U. I'd already changed the name somewhere else. We're going to get 2 of those, because that's what you do. You train under your parents. Composition has illusion crafting, musical composition, and writing, as in poetry and stuff like that. So, maybe culinary, he feed himself. Fabric craft, metal crafts. Like, maybe he picked up a little bit of metal craft doing, like, I don't know, things on the leather work. Or stonecraft or woodcraft. The performance arts are acting, music, stage magic. I would almost want to do acting. You know, kind of falls into that duping thing. But Rolemaster Unified doesn't have the same kind of like similar skills kind of thing going on. So we won't necessarily get a direct benefit, right? They are, because there are fewer skills, they're a little bit more delineated. Well, or maybe that's just the way my brain works. So I'm thinking that the acting would actually be, right, performance arts acting, which I don't see him doing. The duping and the acting as others, yeah, sure, but maybe not the acting, but we'll see. So then the vocational. So the vocational skills are really interesting. They're basically the catch-alls. Oh, vocation goes here. And cobbler. So basically, the vocation skills. Oh, that's not where that goes. As my autofill tells me, because I already thought about this. You pick trade because it's a profession. Well, they're all professions, but you pick that one, and then you specialize which kind of trade. And basically, anything that you might know because of your involvement in that business that isn't covered by any of the other skills, that's where this falls, right? Like, this is a way to cover, to keep the skill list from having to get to 250, to cover everything that you might know. Ivan Mike has discussed, you know, in the older D&Ds, like the really old D&Ds that, like before 2nd edition, how it was just assumed that you understand how to do these things or those things because you're a thief, you know, or something like that. That's kind of what these skills are. They don't get down to having to nitpick every individual skill, but they also don't assume it. Like, you need to put points into it to be able to pull those things up. Like a lot of my pre-gens for conventions will have 1 or 2 vocational skills. And in my descriptions, you know, I say, hey, you know, I actually go ahead and detail that out. It's like, hey, this is what you were doing in life, you know, and that way, if people, you know, because they're almost always new, they can go, well, would I know that because my history is such and such? I can go, well, you do have that skill. You might roll and find out, you know, that kind of thing. But anyways, so far we've only spent 6 of the 7. This really is usually where I start going like, what else would I do? All right. So another thing we could do, because this is just culture background and not necessarily childhood per se, because the next part, as you notice over here, will be level 1. There's not like childhood and apprenticeship and this, you know. So we can kind of assume more time in all these free skills here. So possibly what we could do then is trade. What's the word I'm looking for? Kind of a street rat hustler. Gosh, what word am I looking for? I don't know. Let's just describe it and worry about a word later. Petty street criminal. Petty street criminal, right? Pickpockets. A little bit of hustling somebody here or there, right? Because he's getting into trouble. Now we just need one more. So let's go ahead and pick up one rank in performing arts. Okay, we'll just do that. So that is the 7 in trades and crafts. I got a 1, a 2, 2, and 2. Great. But we're not actually done. Oh, we are done. Sorry, we are done with culture. Next, we're going to go into level 1, and we're going to spend some development points, a lot of them. But before we do that, we've got skills. So let's well, we'll do that later. We'll do the stat bonuses and stuff like that another time. Okay. So see you next video.